are back. Alrighty. So, rejoining the race at the start of lap 10. We've missed quite a bit of action, unfortunately due to some internet problems, but we've had Tripp and LP Almonds jump into the pits here to get off their mediums. F1 Weber coming in with nothing in the tank to get off of them softs. And current race leader is Luminous, yet to stop though.
Other pit stoppers also do include KPL Heartstopper, who's just come out. Marchi also was into the pits. He's also managed to jump Gordok for a place through the pit cycles there. Believe Oz Torment has been into the pits as well, so it looks like we're just really waiting on Luminous and Gordok to shuffle through the pit stop cycle for the first round.
Gordok's been in. Gordok got off their medium tyres, now running the softs.
So Luminous and Big Red Ralph, sorry.
Yes. Big Red Ralph does currently have Marchie Boy for company on some fresh soft tyres in that M6, that battle for third at the minute.
But Big Red Ralph being able to go 10 laps on the Mazda, he lets Marchie Boy through there, so playing the long game. Look for him to jump up the field or jump up from a couple of positions, as he also lets Gordok by as well down through the S's into the Forest Elbow. That was a very close call there for Gordok.
Yeah, it was, but he's managed to get through it nice and clean. And the big tell here is going to be the gap between Gordok and Heartstopper at the end of Heartstopper's medium stint. So I believe it was about 9 or 10 seconds as Heartstopper jumped off of his first set of softs, and Gordok finished on the medium. So we'll see if they can make that up come the next pit stop.
And Luminous has gone on for another lap, so Luminous is really saving fuel, really stretching out the legs
Still
of that
about 20
Porsche.
litres in there. He could go another lap or two if he really wanted to at the minute. There's Ralph in though.
And comparing Luminous to his lap times compared to Wrestler and Almonds are about the same. So,
yeah, which is good news, because Luminous at this rate will be doing one less pit stop, I believe, so could really be useful come the end of the race with an extra pit stop having to be made by the guys he's running similar times to.
Yeah, that would definitely play really big into Luminous's hands. Get him a couple of positions down at the later end of the night. Meanwhile, the gap between Luminous and Heartstopper is hovering about the same at the moment. About 6 seconds to the good for Luminous, so Heartstopper's not gaining any ground on Luminous, which is also good news for Luminous as well. And the gap from Heartstopper to Marchie Boy about 7 seconds, so Heartstopper's out there making gains while he's got the clean track and really maximising the pace of those medium tyres.
Yeah, Fourth has actually got an amazing exit out of Forest Elbow, and he's going to run down into the slipstream of Marchie Boy, so he's going to be quite close as we come through the chase here. Currently lap 11, coming towards the end of lap 11.
So end of lap 11 at the moment, and KPL Heartstopper has got your fastest lap with the 204.445. Really good pace from these guys around the mountain here.
Yeah, and Luminous has gone around again, so doing 12 laps on the medium tyre for the first stint.
And Gordok's just come in with the purple lap with 204.346. They're only about 2 or 3 seconds off their quality time, so the pace is definitely there for a fast race time overall tonight, Dragon.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch what the overall times were for Split 4, but I think the top couple of guys in here can definitely contest with about the mid-pack of that lobby if they can keep a nice clean race and keep up the race pace that they're currently setting. Gordock really looking good in the corners in that Mustang, being able to chase down Marchie, but he does lose a fair bit on the exit of the corner for the most part. Setting some absolute cracker times here is Gordock, and he's running really well, holding on to the back of that M6.
And really doing well with the Mustangers as well. We saw a couple of the top runners a few seasons ago give the Mustang a go, and they had nothing but shame and more shame to say about the Mustang. The rolling bricks on wheels is what we like to call it, but Gordock's really getting the pace out of that Mustang and working it to his advantage.
Got another really nice exit out of Forest Elbow, back in the slipstream of Marchie as we run down Conrod here, and that time is just dropping. He's made up 3/10 on the straight already, down to half a second the gap, so we'll see how they go coming into the chase. 4/10 down to 3/10.
He just lifts off the throttle there a little bit, Gordock, and lift off the throttle through the entry of the chase, and just thought a bit better rather than sending the car down the inside. And Luminous has finally made his stop. End of lap 12.
That is a hell of a stint there, especially in the Porsche that burns the rear tyres up a little more.
His tyre wear actually looks quite good after that stint.
Yeah, but that gives the lead of the race back to KBL Heartstopper in yet another Porsche. Probably one of the better looking Porsche liveries that you're going to see come out of any liveries in general, or any real life replicas. This one being part of the Absolute Racing team. The sister car to the 911, which ended up coming 4th. I believe this car came 7th in the 2020 Bathurst 12 Hours, so... and what a beautiful livery it is.
Yeah, a long time ago since the Bathurst 12 Hour. It's really become quite a big race the last couple of years since FIA GT3s have been able to grace the mountain. Luminous has come out of the pits in 7th, so I'm not sure where he was before the pit cycle started, but he's ahead of Trip, Big Red Ralph and F1 Weber.
And
whether that is
back on the medium tyres again.
Wow.
So maybe going for another 12 lap stint on the mediums here, and then
he could.
A little stumped. Maybe going for 12 laps on the mediums and then running softs to the end.
I was just about to say that, Dragon. Yeah, 312's looking the case here. We won't know until Luminous makes his second stop, but if he can only get away with 3 stops and run very consistent pace, he's looking good for a top 5 position in Split 5.
Definitely the time made up by, I'm taking a very wide line through Forest over. The time made up by not doing that extra stop is about 20 seconds that you got to make
guys,
up.
We've just lost Gordock coming through the chase. He went totally wide. We did get it all on stream, fortunately. And by the way, hello, welcome, happy, merry Bathurst fortnight.
Our Lord and Saviour, if you're unfamiliar with that god-awful voice in the visuals box, it is the one and only Dodgy. Welcome and thank you for gracing us with your presence, Dodgy, saving the day on Bathurst fortnight.
No worries, I've just got to get in the swing of it now.
Well, you got in the swing of it well enough to catch Gordock having a moment. Lost out to Tormentor and LP Almonds, and now has Wrestler in that Supra to deal with.
And LP Almonds has picked up the fastest lap now, the 203.8, so that's a first lap in the 3s for these guys. Just gradually building the pace up as the stints wear on and as the tyres settle themselves in.
Yeah, I'm still shocked by the pace of Heartstopper on those mediums, having only lost about 1.5 seconds to Marchie over the past 3 or 4 laps, and running a personal best is Marchie with a 2:04.9. So Marchie's doing his best lap times and barely catching Heartstopper, who's on the slower compounded tyre at the minute.
just scouring through the field, just seeing if we've got any sort of battle packs at the moment. There was about to be one with Gordok and Wrestler, but Wrestler found the wall just as he was coming into the dipper. And that's probably about it, but we do have Trip and Luminous in 7th and 8th, about 1.8 seconds apart from each other, so that's probably going to be your closest.
As you say it, Trips found a bit of the wall on the exit of Forest Salvo. So
Excellent touchy fashion.
Curse coming in very strong here tonight. Be very afraid if you're on track at the moment.
Luna's hitting a personal best down Conrad straight through sector 3. So Luminous has not lost any pace after doing 12 laps on the first stint.
In 33 seconds to the leader, BK your Heartstopper from Luminous though, so it's quite a big gap to make up, but Luminous is going for a few less pit stops as Trip is having a wild ride in the background there as well. Luminous also setting a PB with a 2060 there.
Dragon, we're at that point of the year where another season closes. We go into it's probably going to be an extended off season for us here at Wheel to Wheel, on to bigger and better things with season 10 for GT7. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm hoping I can have the game in my possession before season 10 begins. But very, very excited with things to come with Gran Turismo 7, and not only things to come, but things to be transferred across with GT7, that being the likes of all of your decals and liveries that can be transferred across from GT Sport to GT7, so huge news there.
Oh, just absolutely groundbreaking stuff. Biggest thing to come out of this was in sliced bread, I'll tell you that, and I'm sure the guys in the stream chat are going to go bonkers for that one, knowing that their liveries and decals that they ran for Season 9 will be able to get transferred over to Season 10 onto GT7.
Absolutely, and on a serious note, how exciting is it to see GT Sophie, the new AI system that'll be eventually coming into GT7? I'm sure most of us know how average the GT AI has been when playing single player, so hopefully when that gets integrated we can have a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, I can tell you now, I watched the video that a certain YouTuber put out on GT Sophie, and I can tell you they run some very unorthodox lines in those cars, so I'm a little bit skeptical on how realistic of a race they're going to be able to bring, but I'm also very optimistic on the challenge that they will introduce into GT. GT has missed out on a very decent AI system the last couple of years, so it's good to see that they're working on a solution to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to hear that they're looking at improving the AI, as it's historically been pretty bad. And I'd love to have something along the lines of similar games like ACC, where you can actually have a race against the AI in single player mode and not have to rely on sport mode to get punted.
Just to catch up, fellas, up in 4th, we've got Armands giving Tormentor Curry across the top of the hill. He's caught up about a second in a few corners, so he's getting close.
Now, Tormentor has made his way through the field here wonderfully as well. Started on the back row without qualifying. Managed to fight the way up into 3rd at the moment, and LP Armands, I believe, started off a pole. Had a little bit of a drama early on, but looking to regain really well and barely outside of the slipstream of Tormentor there.
Coming to the end of lap 16 onto lap 17. Heartstopper still leading the way, 5 seconds to the good over Marchie Boy, so that gap has stabilised quite a bit over this stint. Marchie running the softs and Heartstopper on the medium tyres. Oz Tormentor in third. Those fronts are looking god awful. I don't know how else to describe it on the Jaguar.
To be fair, they're looking pretty close to the same as LP Almonds, so these guys working with similar equipment under their car at the minute.
Almonds does have the fuel to maybe run another lap potentially if he does a little bit of saving here. Catching a bit of grass down Mountain Straight into Quarry there, just exploring the track limits.
Some men just love to live dangerously, and LP Almonds showing that they are one of them. Getting right out onto the very slick part of the track, coming up to the cutting there, but he's still doing well to hold on to the back of Tormentor, barely out of that slipstream range now. The Tormentor collects a bit of the wall as he approaches the grate here, and LP Almonds is right back under that rear wing. I don't think we're going to see a Soul Slayer-esque move down into Skyline here. We did see that Subaru go up the inside of a Corvette in the previous stream, but LP Almonds decided to stick behind Tormentor as we enter Forest Salvo here.
And our resident Gimp is just wondering how bad of fuel the FT1 is. Well, LP Almonds' stop was on lap 9. I'm pretty sure he filled the tank up. He's currently on lap 17 and he's probably halfway between a quarter and empty. So
he's probably got about a lap left in that thing, and speaking of being on empty, Oz Tormentor running on the smell of an oily rag, he's gonna have to pit this lap. We see him slide across to the left there. Quite a tricky pit entry as well, so
very
tricky. Make sure you get
in,
slowed down.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that one, Dragon. You hit that tyre barrier there just off to the right, and you'll be looking at doing another lap of Bathurst. And if you're running on fuel like Oz Tormentor is, 80 kilometres around Bathurst, not the most fun you can have on a Sunday night.
You can definitely get a nice view off the top of the mountain as you're not holding onto the wheel for dear life, but also it'll cost you a little bit of your lap time.
You'll definitely get a track walk done a little bit quicker than Tombo, that's for sure, but I'd much rather be going racing pace around Bathurst.
Having a quick check back up towards the front of the field, KPL Heartstopper still leading us around 5 seconds to the front of Marchie Boy in the BMW. This will probably be Heartstopper's last lap. Looking at the fuel, Marchie Boy has just clicked under 10% as he's having a wild ride through McPhillamy.
I'll tell you, these boys don't like to keep it on
seconds behind Marchie as well, with less than 10 litres. And then we have Luminous, our resident long runner, who's probably going for another 12 laps, still with about half a tank remaining on lap 18 here.
The guys here in Split 5 definitely like to live dangerously around Bathurst here. I can tell you right now, the running I've done, it's dangerous enough as it is. Keeping it on this tarmac, let alone finding grass and gravel across the top and down the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah, I have absolutely no clue.
Trip in 5th slot has done a big 180 on Brock's Skyline. Dodgy, can we get a quick replay?
Let's see how we go, fellas, if it's coming up. No, my
He's even had a
button's
bit of
not
an Austin
working.
Powers. Oh, he's had a bit of an Austin Powers trying to get that thing going
Nah.
again.
And
He's
he's
still
looped it
loose down
again.
that dipper. Oh,
that
big
hurt.
contact.
And
He's right on the exit.
And Tormentor's got a face full of South African Citroen down through the dipper. And Tripp has fallen all the way back to 8th spot with damage. He is due for a stop this time by. Has lost out to Gordock and Big Red Ralph as well. And
I bet Tormentor is convinced that Gran Turismo Sport is a horror game after that one. Coming through McPhillamy and just seeing a big old Citroen sitting in the middle of the track.
there's not too much you can do across the top of the mountain, that's for sure. And a Citroen on the racing line is definitely not something you
KPL
want to...
Heartstopper has just emerged out of the pits side by side with Luminous, who's the marathon Porsche. And it looks like Luminous is going to hold the race lead approaching turn 2 here.
comes in front of Heartstopper there. Heartstopper just eases off the throttle there, knows he's in prime position here to get a pass done back on Luminous. Luminous will be looking to do some much needed defending to try and hold up Heartstopper here, but in this sort of situation, Dragon, who is advantage at the moment between the two Porsche drivers?
It's quite tricky to say at the moment. I think Heartstopper has 2 stops left, if I'm not wrong, and I think Luminous might only have 1. No, he does have 2, so I think these cars are actually right on it, because we're expecting Luminous to stop on 24 and 36. So both these cars have 2 stops to go, and Heartstopper's had the pace, so I think Heartstopper might be in the hot seat here for the win.
Marchie Boy in 3rd spot in the Wilson Security Beamer. He's about 5 seconds behind the 2 battling Porsches at the moment. He's just come out on a fresh set of medium tyres. So running his medium stint now, and he's got LP Almonds about 9 seconds down the road on a fresh set of softs in that FT1. So the gap there between those 2 guys will be keen.
That's already dropped by about 1.5 seconds just on this outlap LP Almonds has made up, so not sticking around on them fresh soft tyres.
Looking to eke out the pace on those soft tyres. Our closest battle pack at the moment is 6th place, Dodgy, with Gordok and Big Red Ralph. Gordok looking to escape the sound of the Buzzmobile, and Big Red Ralph needing to find the pits as he's a little bit sideways into the pits. Keeps it on the black stuff enough to get in there for his 2nd stop.
And back at the front of the field, Luminous has been able to hold off Heartstopper for another lap, so Heartstopper not able to make anything happen down Conrod or up Mountain Straight, has just decided to tuck back in.
Heartstopper might be using Luminous as a little bit of a slip buddy here, just to try and save a little bit of fuel, maybe run these softs a lap or 2 longer than what he normally would. He's playing around with the throttle a little bit as he's going across the top of the mountain, over the lump, onto Skyline, and down in through the S's. Very tricky section, the S's there. Bit too much brake and the rear end will loop you around, and that's definitely not part of the track that you'd want to be facing 180.
As we saw, it's a very tough spot to have any kind of notice if a car's made a mistake, but we'll see if Heartstopper wants to do anything down Conrod here, deep in the slipstream, pulling right up to the rear bumper.
And he's looking to make a move.
It's going to turn
Luminous
into the
gives him
outside
a
under the
little
braking
rub.
zone. It's cleared him.
And Luminous gave him a little bit of a rub there as Heartstopper made the pass, just to let him know that he's still there, and he's not going to fall off the back of Heartstopper in an easy fashion. And the gap is still about a half a second between these guys at the moment, so Luminous definitely in the prime position to fight back for position up Mountain Straight as they go through Hell Corner for lap 21.
To fight back, but he's also on the slower tyre, so Heartstopper will have more braking ability on them fresh softs, whereas Luminous, I believe, is running lap 9 on the mediums now. Running a PB first sector with the slipstream from Heartstopper though, and is able to hang on to the back all the way down Mountain Straight, but Heartstopper's got a really nice run out of turn 2 as we run up to the cutting here. It's 7/10, so he's almost broken the slipstream now. And there it goes out to almost a second now. Them soft tyres using all the grip as we run up the mountain. 1.1, so that gap is just going to grow, and Heartstopper really is just in the hot seat here. It's his race to lose.
Nothing like a Sunday evening cruise around Bathurst.
What lap are we on, gentlemen?
We are currently on lap 21 of 43 at the moment, Dodgy, and shout out to the resident Gimp again as well, getting the crowd to hover around that like button. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, I know we've had a few issues, but the Messiah is here. The stream is saved. Smash that like button. There's about 20 or so of you guys watching at the moment. So it'd be good to see the likes up around the 20 mark.
And just to correct you there, Touchy, he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Oh, and I just had a quick scroll through the field. Gordok's picked up 2.5 seconds coming down Conrod here.
Oh, that's a big penalty.
Not too keen on burning it at the moment either, so...
And burning as we're in the chase now, so it looks like he's not going to take that to the stewards. He's just going to take the penalties a little bit sideways out of the chase.
I think Gordok will feel a little bit unlucky as he was running so well early on, sitting only about 9 seconds off at the back of Heartstopper with his mediums out of the way, and then just made that mistake down through the chase, a little lapse of concentration, and has now had to fight all the way back through the field and has to re-catch up to Oz Tormentor again.
And we'll get Dodgy involved here on the chat, mate. Why aren't you racing around Bathurst this weekend or next weekend?
I have not raced all season. I will ashamedly admit that I've been on a slightly different game this season. And going back to Gran Turismo has been very difficult for me. I couldn't even keep it on track when I tried Bathurst. But I'm definitely coming back for GT7. I will be back here with bells on in whatever shape or form I can get there to give Season 10 a red hot go.
So getting your Bathurst kicks done elsewhere, are you, mate?
Yeah, watching the earlier race, I wanted to surely jump on and have a race, but now I am here doing visuals instead, so it's just as good. I get to watch it. I can put up with that.
Can you put up with Touchy though? I know he's a bit of a tough ask to listen to.
Oh, we've been doing it that long now. I don't think it's going to matter anymore.
Just a little update on the gap here between Marchi and LP Armands was 10.5 seconds as they both came out of the pits. LP Armands has got that down to 3.3 now and dropping quite quickly.
And I think we also need to give a big shout out to the guys throughout the week as well, Dragon, covering the qualifying sessions. We had about 6 or 8 of those throughout the week, and some new voices of Wheel to Wheel shone their weary vocals. Big shout out to Corbin doing about 3 or 4 streams.
Yeah, Corbin did really well on the comms too, so hopefully we'll be hearing more from him come Season 10. And Pagani reared his ugly head back in the comms box again as well, so he will forever be the comms abandoner in my eyes, as he left me high and dry in a Monza stream a few seasons ago and just went to the kitchen to make food while on commentary with me, so just going to put him on blast for everyone to hear.
We also had a resident goat as well make an appearance on Saturday night for comms as well. The old goat has made his way back home to Wheel. I wasn't around when he was around, but from what I've heard, he was a little bit fast. So the top echelon of Wheel again, just getting stronger and stronger, and showing that the best of Australia and New Zealand come to Wheel for their weekly racing fix.
Absolutely. Everyone, doesn't matter if you're at the top end or the bottom end of the scale on pace. You know, we've got room for everyone here at Wheel to Wheel. So if you are thinking of jumping on board, check out Wheel to Wheel Racing on Facebook, and there'll be a join link there if you want to jump into the Discord and be a part of it. But lovely to see Goat back in here. Said the Corona Cup lobby, brought him back into the league, and love seeing him have a punt at comms and getting involved.
Luminous has just made his way into the pits, and it looks like he is doing those 12 lappers.
Actually, that's just a shameful 11 lapper out of Luminous there, so was expecting the 12, he's gone for 11, but that might leave just for a little bit of a longer soft stint come the end of the race there.
You've got Armin's getting up very close to Marchie now, heading up Mountain Straight. He's only 1.2 behind him.
Been making up plenty of time on that softer tyre as Marchie's running the mediums. Both similar on fuel, but Armin's has had some amazing pace in quali during the week and is currently showing that pace here in the race. Now into the slipstream range right there on a 3/4 of a second. A little bit of a rough run out of the cutting, so Marchie's going to stretch that back out as we approach the grey.
And Luminous is coming out of the pits in 6th spot, gentlemen. He's about 4 seconds off Gordock at the moment, but he's on softs actually, so he's done a 3/4 fill and he's on the soft tyre.
Focus needs to be on this battle for second though. LP Armins has really closed that gap down through the skyline and is going to be in striking range without a mistake in Forest Salvo here.
Yeah, that M6 will be punching a massive hole for the FT1. Big boy M6 up against the FT1. M6 doesn't have the straight line speed like a lot of the other cars.
There's a good bit of acceleration, but I think once you get into about 6th gear, it really falls off.
Armin's right at the top of the red range and 6 down the inside.
Big
move.
send up the inside.
He didn't.
He's overcooked it a little, but he's pulled it up nicely, and that's second place for LP Armin's there.
What lap are they finishing,
as we come
fellas?
towards the end of lap 24 here.
Sweet.
And big move there by Armin's to go up to 2nd spot. And Heartstopper leading the way about 12 seconds to the good in that absolutely beautiful looking Porsche.
I spy another chance at an overtake down in 7th and 8th as well. Big Red Ralph barely out of the slipstream in that rotary of the Super Wrestler there. I believe that rotary is a replica of an old RX-7 that's run at Bathurst in previous years, so sticking with the rotary fashion of the RX Vision and going with the classic RX-7 livery.
And it's really good to see the boys, or the gentlemen of Wheels Wheel, getting involved with the retro livery round that we've come accustomed to when we come to Bathurst. The guys that we race with always screaming and shouting to run some retro liveries, whether it's for the V8 supercars, the old Australian touring cars from long ago, or relatively newer machinery to make grace its presence around the mountain in the GT3s and the GT4s and your silhouette racing cars. Just adds a nice little bit of extra colour around the mountain and just all the more solidifies the greatness that the mountain has to offer.
Yeah, and I gotta say, some of the guys in Wheel to Wheel that specialise in liveries absolutely blow me away, as people the likes of Renegade and Gimp and Maltnash, they just smash out liveries with ease and they all look absolutely stunning. So I know a lot of guys here will have them to thank for their retro liveries this week and next week.
Yeah, I had a quick chat to the to Renegade and just asked him the question on what the timeframes are when it comes to making a livery from scratch for Bathurst, or whether it's for the season for his team. Usually he gets them done in one sitting over a couple of hours, so that's he gets a lot of work done to get those cars looking really good over a couple of hours. He's definitely a lot better at it than what I am and probably what you are, Dragon. And
it's very clear if you look at the Porsche and the Ferrari livery that I've run this season that he is well surpassed me in any kind of skill there.
Blue flag out there, fellas. Oh, it's created an incident there. KPL has been held up. He's run into the back of him. Is that Big Red Ralph that he just overtook?
It's F1 Weber having
F1
a rough
Weber.
time in the Supra at the minute. So, fortunate there for Heartstopper, has managed to avoid any kind of damage. And having a look through the field, we do have Oz Tormentor leaving the pits and Wrestler just entering now. So a couple of guys making probably their second last pit stop here.
And Armands across the top of the mountain has spun it at the skyline. I'm not sure if we can get a replay there, Dodgy.
See, the button hasn't been working. No, I'm not getting any replays out of this thing at all, fellas. Sorry. Hotkeys aren't so hot tonight.
Currently running around with front left and front aero damages, LP Armands, so very, very unfortunate. Has lost back out to Marchie Boy after running down over 10.5 seconds this stint. And now he just gets to run down another 3.5 again, and it's going to be a straight out race on the softs between the two of them for the second come the end of the race.
I think I spoke a bit too soon for you, Dodgy, mate. I'm sorry.
Well, I do believe it was a problem in the earlier stream, so I'm going to claim it as just being a glitch.
There we go, and I spy Luminous in the slipstream of Gordok in 4th here as well. Luminous has run a PB last time around with a 2:05.0 and is currently about half a tenth down on that, but has some slipstream assistance from that Mustang now.
And Gordok will be looking to go into the pits this time by, again, running that fuel tank. Dry as a bone, getting every last bit of fuel, and he's found the... Oh no! He's found the tyres, he's done the engine, front aero damage, and he's got a...
He's out of fuel.
Oh no.
Has that kicked him back out?
That's shoved him back on the start-finish straight. He's got engine damage. He's going to run out of fuel very shortly.
If he hasn't run out of fuel already.
I saw him get up to 120. He's out. So he's going to have to lap at 80 kilometers an hour. He's got to do the whole lap. That is super, super unfortunate for Gordok.
That is very, very punishing for a man who was working his way back up the field in a really good looking car in the Mustang, I've got to say. And God, this lap around Bathurst is going to be a very, very long one for Gordok.
There goes Ralph on by as well. Here comes Trip. Oh, he's almost hit him. That was very close.
And it looks like he's retired the car. Gordok not going to do the lap of Bathurst. He has retired the car, and that is very, very, very unfortunate
LP
to
Armands
see.
is in the wall again as well. At Forest Elbow, he's ended up in the wall yet again. This is the end lap too, so he's run through almost all of the lap and chucked it into the wall and lost another 11 seconds to Marchie Boy. So the point of the race, we're almost an hour in, and these lads are starting to get a bit fatigued.
And Heartstopper has made his way into the pits again for his 3rd stop. Marchie Boy also in the pits as well, was about 12 seconds behind Heartstopper. Double the fuel as Heartstopper Marchie Boys has. That's probably not going to give him too much of an advantage. We'll give him a couple of seconds in hand.
And Dale in the chat is speculating that the Mustang might have tried to find a crowd on pit entry and missed a lot of them and ended up getting reset, so the Mustang unable to find the crowd there.
And Luminous has managed to jump Heartstopper again, a bit more of a healthier lead this time around, so Heartstopper has a little bit of work to do, but bear in mind Luminous did do a short fuel stop on his last pit stop, so Luminous has got a couple of hot laps here that he needs to ring in that Kmart Porsche.
With one stop to go as well, so this is our effective race lead at the moment.
Yeah, Luminous needs to really summon his inner Greg Murphy and get his lap of the gods out. Lucky for him, he is Kiwi, so he's probably a little bit of Greg Murphy in him already.
Battle for fourth at the moment is heating up as well. LP Armands has come out of the pits right behind Tormentor. And we've seen LP Armands with some great pace, just a little bit of inconsistency as over the top of the mountain where that FT1 gets tricky. We'll see if they can make anything happen sitting right up behind Tormentor here.
Yeah, fresh set of tyres as well will do Armands a few favours for him, especially up against Tormentor, who's been looking really good in that Jaguar throughout the night.
He's had half a look around the outside there. That's
showing the nose.
a bit of inspiration from Souls in the earlier one.
Side by side down through the dip of those two guys were.
I don't know if I have the guts to attempt something like that, but I'm feeling the inspiration. So the other lads in Div 2 better keep half an eye out if I'm close enough to attempt to move down through Skyline. Seeing everyone else give it a go just makes me want to be part of it.
Quick run through the bottom half of the field, give these guys a bit of a mention. Wrestler just running a nice quiet race in 6th spot, about a minute off the pace of Luminous. 7th place goes to Big Red Ralph in the Slick 50 RX Vision. He's about 5 seconds behind Wrestler. Trip in 8th. Again, another 5 seconds or so behind Big Red Ralph in the GT by Citroen. And F1 Weber in 9th spot. I'm not sure whether he is a lap down on a couple of cars at the moment. I
Just
believe
emerged from the pits. He's had a rough one. I can see a lot of fluctuation in his lap times over the past 9 laps or so. So
looks like he's
struggling
been
around Bathurst.
Looks like he's been lapped by Marchie, Heartstopper, and Luminous. And as I was on board with Marchie, he did find the wall again going through the cutting. So look, shout out to F1 Weber, just logging the laps, learning the lay of the land. Hopefully looking to come back to season 10 stronger and a little bit faster, and maybe in a car that's not so hard to control around the mountain.
Yeah, and as we heard from Apex in our hot lap this week, is the best way to get quicker is just by getting the laps in, by learning the car, learning the track. The more laps you do, the more time you put in, the more likely you are to get faster. So sticking it out and pushing through and trying to get those laps in.
And Heartstopper up in 2nd, if we can go back up to that battle there between him and Luminous. Heartstopper's starting to close down on Luminous again after his trip through the pits. That gap is closing down quite a bit. Was it about 2 seconds after the chase, down to about 1.7 as they go through Hell Corner.
Yeah, so last time around, Luminous with a 206.3, Heartstopper with a 205.3, so taken just under a second off overall, and has set a PB first sector.
And Marchie Boy running a pretty lonesome race in 3rd. At the moment, he's about 10 seconds behind Heartstopper
as well.
10 seconds behind Heartstopper and 15 ahead of Tormentor. Tormentor just ran through a purple first sector there, up by almost 2/10 in that Jaguar. So we haven't seen anyone trouble Armands for the purple lap. That purple lap was set quite a while ago now. Can't get an exact lap of when we did see that purple. Tormentor looking to just trouble that purple time on lap 30.
Yeah, I believe that purple time was set at about lap 13, somewhere between lap 13 and 15, as LP Armands was on some fresh softs. So that stood for quite a while, and everyone's been running the softs for a fair while now.
Almonds and Tormentor have found themselves yet again across the top of the mountain. Almonds just outside the slip, but with a solid run out of Forest
Amazing
Elbow.
run through there. It's taken about 2/10 off Tormentor through the corner and now has that slipstream all the way down Conrod. Don't think the FT1 has enough to really win though.
Yeah, a little FT1 showing its nimbleness around the mountain compared to the Jaguar. He's not gonna make the gains down Conrod Straight, but he's still right there with Tormentor. Tormentor finds a little bit of grass and a little bit of curb, living a little bit dangerously on the exit of the chase. Defends the inside. Almonds is looking around the outside, gets the cut back.
Tormentor got loose on exit. He's still got a better run out of there than LP Almonds, but incredible attempt at the switchback from Almonds there.
And Tormentor sideways through all the corners at the moment. He's going to lose that position finally to Almonds.
Will he be able to come back at him, come into turn 2 braking zone here? Doesn't look like it. We've seen how quick Almonds can be in fresh air now that he's not stuck under the rear wing of that Jag. He'll be looking to clear out well and truly. Oh, he's picked up a bit of wall coming into the cutting though, using every bit of the track available there.
And Dragon, I'll just need to draw your attention to the stream chat. We've had another wheel-to-wheel member rear his ugly head in ZD. ZD is back from the dead, or wherever he was.
I believe, I don't think he was dead, but for ZD I think it would have been heaven being out on a Navy ship with a bunch of seamen.
I thought on Discord they said he was out looking for a wife.
Yeah, he's
he could
in the
also
hunt for a wife here for sure.
Could also be looking for a husband as well, being in the Navy.
Oh, that's... I don't believe he went there.
He's copping a lot of courage from the community.
You do know who runs wheel to wheel, right?
Yeah, I believe that's the husband ZD's looking for at the minute. That being the big boss man, Squiddy.
I recuse myself from this stream. It had nothing to do with me at all.
But no, it's all love, and we're very happy to see ZD back, popping his head back in the Wheels to Wheel Discord.
Look, I wouldn't be too surprised for ZD to marry into money and then take what he can and leave. But yeah, good to see you back, ZD. We've had some really good battles in Division 2
I
last
believe
season.
Stefco is still thinking of a very good battle that they had with ZD back in Blue Moon Race 3 a fair while ago. Was brought up earlier. ZD played a very strong defense against Stefco. And I ended up getting the win because of it, but Stefco's not salty about that anymore apparently, so... I did just spy luminous purple across the top of the mountain as well.
And I was on board with Almonds doing Tokyo drifts out of the cutting, swinging the car both left and right, so Almonds looking to eke out lap time and not save tyres in that FT1.
Another thing to keep note of, even though Luminous has got purple over the top of the mountain, they will be in this lap there. Under 10% left in the tank, and Heartstopper's still got half a tank to go, so we'll see Heartstopper take over the race lead here. And
is he going to be able to run the 12 laps to the end here? Because 11 laps or 12 to the end for Luminous?
Jeez, you're about as good as maths as Ando is. That's saying something. So by my count, that's 11 laps to go, including the one we're on. So we'll see Heartstopper come in for a short stint or a short fuel soft run here, and that could be all the difference in being able to jump Luminous overall.
And lap 33 we are on for the ladies and gentlemen that are joining us in the chat.
Well, if any of them are competent at maths, unlike you, they'd figure that out by me saying there's 11 to go, but...
I think
Luminous
fatigue set into the comms room as well.
Luminous has re-emerged from the pits on medium tyres yet again, and just ahead of the Jag of Tormentor, who looks to be about to make that move. He's tucked
right
in,
up
he's...
there.
Oh.
Gives him a small push up mountain straight. That Porsche needs all the help it can get for straight line. And Tormentor going Tokyo drifting as well on the curb. You've got to be careful touching that curb. Really does send the car the wrong way. There is a lot of grip on there as well, but it is a very dangerous game to play. And looks like we've got Armands encroaching up onto the back of F1 Weber. Looks like he's gonna catch up to him down around Forest Elbow. This might do Luminous a little bit of favour, but as soon as I say that, Armands was sideways out of the dipper.
Watching Armands is making me pretty nervous. That FT1 looks a bit wild coming across the top of the mountain there.
And down Conrad Straight, Armands is firmly within the slit of F1 Weber. Weber just pulling off to the side just to give Armands the road, and that is excellent sportsmanship from those guys there.
Yep, and an update on Luminous has put 2.2 seconds on Oz Tormentor in this lap alone. So not playing around on them mediums, and I'm definitely starting to think that that's the tyre Luminous is more comfortable lapping on. The gap between Luminous and Heartstopper is 32 seconds, with Heartstopper still having to make a pit stop as well.
So 32 seconds, that going to be enough for Heartstopper? Does he need to kick that Porsche into a new gear and find a few more seconds?
With the amount of fuel that Heartstopper still has on board, a bit over a quarter of a tank, I think he's going to be able to either short fill or just not be in the pits for as long. With having that much fuel still on board, I think that's going to buy him time. I think the battle, it might be between Luminous and Marchie Boy for second after Marchie's done his pit stop.
While we're in a bit of a spell before he goes in, guys, I might let you fill your water glasses. We might just throw in a quick ad for one of our great sponsors at Brisbane Insurance Brokers.
Brisbane Insurance Brokers has been recognised as the best in commercial and industrial insurance. They can help with all manner of general insurance needs, including your personal insurance for your home and car. Contact them through their website, brisbaneinsurancebrokers.com.au, for all your insurance needs.
And there you go. Definitely give Brisbane Insurance Brokers a call if you are chasing up insurance of any kind. They can definitely help you out.
Absolutely. Huge thank you again to Brisbane Insurance Brokers for jumping on board with us for Season 9, and we hope to have your continued support through the transition across to GT7 and into Season 10.
Is there any chance those blokes can ensure my win at Bathurst next weekend?
I don't think there's
you
any
mean
chance
inshore
of that.
or ashore? Because no one can assure that for you, buddy.
Thanks for the hope there, Dodgy.
I mean, after your qualifying performance, what are you starting back row?
Look, some of the greatest drivers come from the back of the pack to take the lead.
I think you need to change your
some
livery,
of them are similar to
Touchy.
you and don't.
Put a Superman livery on it. That way you can just launch it straight off the top of Skyline.
I mean, maybe I did qualify in the back row to go bowling into turn 1, try and take out the competition.
ZD has just inquired if Brisbane insurance brokers help with prenups.
Oh dear, ZD.
That's well done there by ZD. Glad to have you back, mate. Right,
Maybe while we've
checking back in.
got the chance to maybe give the rest of our sponsors a quick mention. We've got Racers World, Future Studios, Next Level Racing, and Pagnian Imports as well, and Jade Finance, guys that sponsor our hot laps as well.
Yes, huge thank you to all of our sponsors, and as we say that, our current race leader is diving in for their final pit stop of the race.
Maybe Jade could finance ZD when he gets married, if he's needing the money.
Oh, I don't think any company can afford to finance that.
Yeah, there's taking smart risks for business, and then there's that. That'd be similar to backing you for a win next week. It's not a smart business decision to be made.
Oh, that burnt.
I mean, managed to beat the cream of the crop last week at Lake Maggiore.
How many points did you get in race 1 and 3? Combined?
We won't talk about race 1 and race 3. We won't talk about race 1 and race 3. We'll only talk about race 2. That's the only one that matters. But let's get back out on the track real quick before I get burnt some more. Your new race leader is Marchie Boy.
And Heartstopper has emerged 2.4 seconds ahead of Luminous. So these will be our race leaders once all the stops have been done. And is 2.3 seconds enough?
Well, Luminous is on the medium tyre compared to Heartstopper on the soft, so I think you're right, Dragon, in saying that it is Heartstopper's race to lose here in the final echelons of this enduro. The next guy to keep an eye out on will be Marchie Boy, and seeing where he cycles out compared to Luminous, and as well Almonds as well in 4th spot. He's probably got another lap or two to go on his stint before he's due into the pits.
Yep. Speaking of Marchie Boy, I believe he is approaching the rear end of Wrestler, who's currently sitting in 8th, so could be a bit of trouble here depending on if Wrestler sees him coming or not.
Looks, and Wrestler, he's done a pit stop, sorry. Yeah, Wrestler's done a pit stop, that's why he's down in 8th spot, and he's been jumped by...
Won't be worried about, there we go, Marchie coming into the pit lane for his final stop of the night.
He's in early. I would have thought he would have gone another lap or two.
Yeah, maybe hoping for less time in the pits there. Heartstopper has pulled another second on Luminous as well. So I definitely think it's going to be between Marchie and Luminous for that second spot, and Heartstopper's got this sealed, barring a mistake.
And what lap's he about to start, Dragon?
Currently starting at lap 37.
37.
So really coming towards the pointy end of the race now. Marchie's still held in the pits as Luminous rounds turn 1. He's rolling out of the pit box. That's not a huge gap either for Marchie to have to make up on the softer tyre. About 4 seconds it's going to be. So that fight for second could still be red hot come the end of the race.
I've noticed the medium tyres have not been wearing away quite as aggressively as the softs throughout the night, Dragon. So Luminous might be able to maintain quite a bit more speed or quite a bit more lap time over Marchie Boy for the rest of the stint. And bear in mind, Marchie is on cold soft tyres, so potential there for a mistake.
Quite quickly though. Them softs don't stay cold for long. I reckon by the time you come down Skyline, they'll be about where you need them. So 4.3 seconds, the gap that Marchie needs to make up. With about 6.5 laps to go, so not asking a second a lap, just under that. We also have Trip in the pits down in 7th, making their final stop of the night. I believe I just heard a Roaring Rotary come by pit lane as well. So we could see these two get quite close together come the end of the race as well. Big Red Ralph and Trip here within 3 seconds of each other now.
And Wrestler in 8th, F1 Weber in 9th, so the two Supras rounding out the back of the field. And Oz Tormentor up in 5th spot. His march up the field has sort of petered out a little bit as the race has gone on. A couple of mistakes just maybe cost him a few too many seconds over the night. He's about
Oz Tormentor finding himself in about the same area that I usually find myself, just in a bit of no man's land. I don't know how I manage it, but every enduro that I race in, I'm in no man's land with nobody anywhere near me. So Tormentor's
I'm sure
Dodgy at the minute.
I'm sure Dodgy knows your feeling as well. I can remember Dodgy in a enduro around Lasarth a few seasons ago, running out of a very lonely third place for the whole race, about 40 seconds behind the next bloke and about 40 seconds ahead.
It was a lonely one, definitely.
Measure that by postcodes or two?
Yeah, I try not to think back to Lasarth, that Super Enduro all those seasons ago. I spent an hour and a half switching between controller and wheel, so that was a very stressful race. I would have about probably 2 minutes on the wheel before my pedals started playing up, and I would have to swap back to controller, and it was an ordeal.
I hate to admit my brilliance, but in that Super Enduro as well, I was running off mobile hotspot, and just had a bit of Spotify playing in the background just to get me through a Lasarth Enduro, and the big brain in myself forgot to put the phone on charge, or keep the phone on charge, and disconnect happened when the battery ran out on the phone. So
that is just gold.
That was, if I remember, that was a good way into the race as well. That wasn't, just the first 5 laps or anything.
I'm pretty sure that was towards the back end of the field. I was only like about 10 seconds or 15 seconds behind Speedy Tyres in the almighty Corvette and running a really good race. Remember watching the stream back, just seeing myself going light speed around, what's the corner after Indianapolis?
Arnage.
Yeah, just doing light speed run around Arnage, and then next thing off into the ether.
It looks like the Mozzie is catching up to Trip here, back in 7th, just coming up around the top of the hill now.
Made up about 2.8 seconds since we last mentioned them, and Big Red Ralph has been silently cutting that time away.
Yeah, you could say that some slick driving there from Big Red Ralph to catch up to Trip. Starting to pull its strings now to keep the comms running.
Another trip down memory lane from that exact same Lasarth race was ZD smashing his G29 on the Tuesday and swapping to a Fanatec, I believe, on Saturday night. So the old track limits at Lasarth had ZD punching his wheel, and the wheel was in no condition to continue.
I tried to warn you not to mess with the Navy boys, but you just didn't listen.
I'm guessing you've got a story to tell us then, Dodgy, about messing with the Navy boys by the sounds of it.
Oh, let's just say ZD is an awesome team player.
We'll get that story out of you one day, Dodgy.
Alright, back on board with this battle for 6th here. Big Red Ralph struggling to take time out of Trip that time around, both with a rough lap. Trip with a 2-minute 8 flat with a 000 actually, so he's done quite well to manage that as my voice goes away. And Big Red Ralph goes with a 207.373.
And really quickly just noticed that Trip was purple up Mountain Straight there.
Yeah, Trip was purple, and Big Red Ralph was 2 tenths up on his previous best through there as well.
Luminous, the battle for second and third at the moment between Luminous and Marchi is down to about 2 seconds with 3 laps to go in this Enduro.
Yeah, Heartstopper's stretched it out to 5 seconds in the lead, but that gap from Marchi to Luminous definitely closing.
Absolutely wonderful racing from Heartstopper tonight. He's been the pick of the bunch out of these guys.
Yeah, maybe feeling something to prove after a little bit of midweek drama there. He's had a bit behind him, spurring him through this race, and he's done phenomenally.
6th and 7th, Big Red Ralph has managed to get past Trip at Forest Elbow.
Something big's happened there.
Yeah, Trip was really slow out of Forest Elbow, and Big Red Ralph has managed to pull 2 seconds on Trip. We won't ask for a replay because we know Dodgy can't do that.
One of the few things that he can't do.
Apparently, omnipotence has its limits.
But Ralph will be happy to see that big South African flag in the rearview mirror. And holding on to that 6th place with an iron grasp with about 4 laps to go as they cross the line here. And Marchi 1.5 seconds back from Luminous, and those medium tyres of Luminous are looking quite second-hand compared to the fresh softs of Marchi boy. On lap 38, Marchi with a 2:04.3 as well, fastest lap of the race out of Marchi. LP Armand's last time around with a 2:03.672 for a purple lap as well. Now down to 1.1 seconds. This is going to get quite close come the end of the race. 3 laps to go as we start lap 41 here.
Big congratulations to these guys tonight in Split 5. 43 laps around Bathurst is a big ask for anyone in the league, especially these guys. These guys have really nailed it out the park tonight. We've run some really good laps. We've had some really good battles, a couple of unfortunate errors, and we've definitely have endeavoured through a few issues to bring you some awesome racing tonight.
Absolutely, and with just a couple of laps to go, we have Marchi boy really starting to close up on Luminous. You can see him on the exit of every corner. That came up Porsche's right there. And knowing Marchi, he will not be holding back at this point, and he's actually up on his best lap of the race currently as we go through the 2nd sector timing marker. 1.1 seconds to gap now.
Found a little bit of wall just before the dipper, so he's using all sorts. He's using as much of the track as he can, and then some more to
Got
really.
quite a good exit out of Forest Elbow there as well, taking about a 10th out of Luminous again, just chipping away.
Just outside the slipstream there of the Porsche. Luminous really needs to start summoning that Greg Murphy lap of the god pace these last couple of laps on those medium tyres.
He's only got to go around 2 more times.
Marchi looking very good on fuel. Luminous a bit under a quarter of a tank now, so Luminous might be on the fuel safe here, and Marchi...
Oh, he's caught a bit of the curb on the exit. Marchi will be licking his lips now. He's in the slipstream range. 6/10 the difference as we approach Hell Corner. He's on the march, says the Gimp man in the chat. Oh, and Marchi getting loose out of Hell Corner. That might cost him the slip to the Porsche, and it does, so maybe a little over-eager on the exit of Hell.
And this is the one and only battle pack we have going around here at Bathurst. Sorry, I lie. Trip and Big Red Ralph have managed to find themselves again in 6th and 7th. But the battle we want to keep an eye on is for 2nd and 3rd between Marchi and Luminous.
Marchie now within half a second as we come across the top of the mountain down to 4/10 as we approach the grate. To see the suspension compress coming down through there. Approaching
Marchie,
Nick Phillamy now. He's right there with him on the rear bumper.
Marchie was definitely looking down the inside there, trying to maybe do a Shane Van
He's got it, Luminous is
Gisbergen.
loose.
He spooked him.
Now, can Marchie defend against that Porsche down Conrod? Will Luminous go for the move, or is he going to happily take that third spot? He's driven an amazing race up until this point, and the slipstream's gone already. It's out to 8/10. Marchie is away. He is marching away at the moment. Sorry, boys. Had to do it. And that gap between Big Red Ralph and Tripp has now spread out to 9 seconds. So a mistake from Tripp on this lap, and could come under fire from Wrestler, who was only 3.3 seconds back.
And I hate to say this, boys, but we're on the final lap.
That we are.
An hour and a half has flown by.
The first kind of 20 minutes were a bit rough, but we've been hanging on for dear life since then. And KPL Heartstopper with 5.8 seconds to the clear of Marchie Boy has driven a phenomenal race up until this point, and he's purple through the first sector just for good measure.
Getting that last lap purple in.
It's been an incredible drive out of Heartstopper here.
And I'm just getting word that Tombo, looks like Tombo is getting himself ready on the start-finish line to wave the checkered flag for these gentlemen for their final lap. He's made the small rollover from Whoop Whoop to Bathurst to congratulate these guys for a solid effort and an awesome race tonight.
Yeah, I believe it was calculated in the comms chat earlier in the week that Bathurst was Whoop and Tombo lived out in Whoop Whoop, so there was only about one Whoop between them. So not too far away from Bathurst is Tombo. I'm sure he loves a good visit down at Bathurst. I've heard stories that he's had his Volkswagen transport van in sport mode coming down the mountain and had some good fun, so...
Oh boy. Get the transporter van into GT7 and watch Tombo get very excited.
Absolutely. We will jump on with Heartstopper here as he approaches the chase for the final time of 43. Pulled it up nicely. That beautiful 912 Porsche. It's driven the Bathurst 12 hour. It got 7th there. It's going to take first here.
Marchie's trying to close the gap. It's down to under 5 seconds. I know he's not going to find 5 seconds in the final corner, but he's done.
Heartstopper approaching the line to take that race win beautifully.
Emphatic race victory.
Claim second here, and Luminous on the alternate strategy is going to claim third. Great job to our podium finishes here. Looks like LP Almonds has had a couple of rough ones. Set the personal best, set a 2:04.5, and then he's had a 2:11 and a 2:09. So rough couple of laps, but he's going to bring it home for a nice 4th place finish here after starting.
Shout out to the man too. He does a big job behind the scenes, helping out with admin as well. So great job, Almonds.
He's able to get purple on lap 39 as well. So well job to Almonds just to knock that purple down a few more tenths. 4th spot.
Tormentor now coming through Murray's in that Jag to take 5th place, running it on the... Oh, he's getting loose out of the corner as well, running it on the smell of an oily rag.
Top 5 for Tormentor. Awesome job there for him and for Scooter Quadrifolio, one of our new teams for season 9. And we jump it back to Big Red Ralph, only a short 49 seconds behind in the little Buzzmobile. I'm sure Ralph will be hearing rotaries when he goes to bed tonight.
Yeah, we'll be having nightmares about bees and wasps all around him, but you do what you gotta do. He's gonna claim a very well-earned 6th place here. It's been a rough one for a couple of guys in this lobby. It's a very tricky track to stay consistent at, but 6th place is nothing to shy away from as he comes through Murray's corner in that beautiful slick 50 RX Vision. and just behind Ralph is Trip in the big South African branded Citroen. We've had F1 Weber cross the line as well, who got lapped, and now Wrestler approaching the line to finish it off and take 8th place. So a big congratulations to everyone in this race for sticking it out and getting it done. Can be a brutal slog of a race for an hour and a half.
Absolutely.
All those guys can hold their heads high, knowing that they've done 40 odd laps at Bathurst, as well as Gordock as well. Unfortunate that he decided to retire the car after that unfortunate incident at the pit lane. Would have liked to have seen him carry on and see what he could have mustered for the rest of that race. And as well, we'll give a big shout out to Hammy as well to try and bring us the action. Unfortunately,
some unfortunate internet problems, just not playing the game as we want it to. So.
Yep, and this has been the penultimate week for Gran Turismo Sport in wheel-to-wheel main season. So next week, our final week of racing with top split 2 and 3, will be the last main racing we have on GTS. While there will be an off-season on GTS, as mentioned before, we'll be starting back with GT7. So looking forward to it, gentlemen.
Absolutely, can't wait to kick it off for GT7. Very excited of things to come. Hopefully a lot less pit glitch, grid glitch problems. Hopefully they've got that sorted for us once the lobbies are available, and we can hit the ground running and absolutely steam into Season 10.
Yeah, looking forward to Bathurst next week. It's going to be a challenge for the top 3 splits that have yet to race. They get an extra week just to finalise their strategies, find their racing lines, and another week just to nibble at the fingernails for what will be a very, very stressful and scary 43 laps. But Dragon, it's been a pleasure as always to join the commentary box for tonight.
Absolutely, mate, and we'll still have a fair bit up in the air in terms of division finishing positions. Decided Div 1, 2 and 3 all still up in the air to be decided next week, so definitely keep your eye out on that. And yeah, thank you again Untouchable Sport joining me here in the comms box, and to Dodgy for jumping in for some last minute camera work.
Cheers, gents. Good night.
See ya.